Hi, welcome to this quick tip video on how to manipulate reference lines. So essentially in this Makeover Monday visualization, I have this feature where when I hover over a particular part of the chart, the reference line draws across two different charts. You can see it here scrubbling across both charts. So this is one chart, this is another chart. So I'm just going to show you how to achieve the same effect in your own visualization. To do that, I'm going to switch to this version of the same visualization where that behavior doesn't exist. So currently I just have responsive tooltips. To do this, you need to do three things. The first step is I actually need a dashboard action between the two sheets. So this is actually a highlight action from sheets 1 and 2 to sheets 1 and 2. The reason I'm leaving both of these ticked is because I want the behavior to happen both ways. I want both charts to be able to affect the other. So that's the first step, making sure this is a hover selection. And I only want to pass across dates and times. I could just select fields and use dates, but there's an option there already pre-selected for you, so I'll just use that. It's also good practice to name your action. So I'm going to call this the date action. I'm going to click OK. And when I do that now, you can see that it's now highlighting the lower chart. And again, when I do the same in the bottom, it's now highlighting the above chart. So that's half the effect achieved. Now, to do the next bit, it requires a trick with reference lines. So the second thing I now need to do is add a reference line. And in this particular case, I need it to be the minimum. And I'm going to set this to none. And it's really important that you leave this option here where you show recalculated line for highlighted or selected data points. Because when I hover or highlight something in one chart, it's going to move the reference line to the thing that I've selected. Okay, and I'm going to have this for the entire table. Okay, and I'm going to click OK. So now when I highlight this, you see the line, the reference line that was at the minimum starting point here moves with my cursor because it's actually saying what's the minimum of what I've selected. If I was to drag and select, the minimum would actually be here on the left hand side. But because the interaction here requires you to hover, then you don't really end up in a situation where you select multiple items. I need to do the same thing here. Sorry, not edit the axis. I need to add a reference line. I want to have none there, and I want it minimum, and I need to leave this option ticked. Okay, so I've achieved that effect, and now the final thing to polish this off is actually to hide that line. Personally, I find it quite annoying that there's a line staying there. So what I'm actually going to do is fix the axis so that that line disappears just behind the axis. So to do that, I'm going to set the date on the left-hand axis to the 1st of April. Click Apply, and it just disappears. If I actually hover over it, it's right there. You can see that Tableau gives me a label, but because it's right on the line, it puts it behind the axis. Same again here. I'm going to edit the axis, fix it to the left. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now when I hover over the item, you can see it draws a line, and I have this capability here to sort of scrabble across the line, and it doesn't matter which one I'm in, it always draws a line back up to the other chart. Now, if you're wondering how the labels here appear only when I have a selection, that's actually a very subtle feature here in labeling, where you only label the marks that are highlighted. And so when I pass a highlight action to this chart or to the other chart, it's going to show me the label of that particular point. So in this particular case, I need to click to highlight, but when I'm passing a highlight action, it gets enabled automatically. So that's the option that I'm leaving enabled. So if I go back to my visualization, I now have the full effect, and you've seen the steps required to reproduce that. I hope you can use this in your next visualization, and hopefully speak to you soon.